Yo guys, what is going on? Welcome back to our video. And today we are here with the first ever Miami Dolphins mock draft for the channel. Really excited to do this, guys. Haven't done this on the channel before, but we've gotten a lot of stuff out so far this off-season content related, and I want to keep it up. So we are doing the first annual mock draft for the channel. So let's get this underway. But before we get this underway, be sure to like and subscribe, guys. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers before the NFL season starts. So let's make it happen, guys. So that being said, let's get started. So going into this draft, the Dolphins have so many needs right now. Like, not as many needs as they had at the start of the offseason, but they have needs. And definitely some spots on the offensive line, like the offensive tackle position, the guard. They do need at least one more safety. Could use some cornerback help, defensive tackles, all that stuff. So we're gonna primarily focus on those certain areas in this mock draft, and pick 13 is gonna be starting off. So the Dolphins have a history of picking at pick 13, We've picked guys like Laramie Tunso and Christian Wilkins, etc., etc. History will repeat itself in this one, and the Dolphins go after an offensive tackle. With the 13th overall pick, the Miami Dolphins, I have selecting Will Campbell from LSU, offensive tackle. The guy is a fucking unit. This guy is 6'6", 319 pounds. This guy in 2022 was second team All-SEC, freshman All-American, freshman All-SEC team. Started 13 games at left tackle. He's been a left tackle his entire time in LSU. So we know that Armstead is very likely to return, but we want to prepare for the future. And this guy isn't a stud, man. He's an athletic left tackle prospect, and this kid is durable and battle-tested, but has elements of high risk, high reward in this game. Campbell is a thumping run blocker. This guy can clear out the B gaps with forceful down blocks and displays base blocks with his strike and run technique. He struggles to win laterally, though. He will lunge and miss against stunts and movements, but Campbell operates with good athleticism and agility in the pass protection. Just way too leaky against inside moves. He is a jarring and heavy punch and can latch in to control the rep. However, he has short arms, and when he's beaten to first action, the footwork and technique go out the window, and it's forcing him to scramble and survive to save the pocket. However, his play is really determined, spirited, and aggressive, which works in his favor, and it's really something this team needs on the offensive line. I mean, you got guys like Liam Eichenberg who are just... Yeah, we know how that is. But Campbell must learn to vary his pass technique, in my opinion, and to operate with an optimal timing in order to thrive at the tackle instead of being moved to guard. But this guy is tested by a battery of NFL caliber pass rushers. He sets with adequate knee bend and hands at the ready, able to joint the rusher when he lands the first punch. Really keeps his feet moving to right arc runners around the top, This guy possesses necessary agility to scramble when needed, wallops first contact as a run blocker with very heavy hands, strong grip aids sustain and can put an end to the battle. He really finishes the blocks with great aggression level and can adjust to moving targets on climbs and pulls. And while speed to power can bounce him into the pocket and struggles to getting his landmarks on lateral blocks, all that, the strengths he has are insane, and it makes up for his minor weaknesses. And that's why I think he would be a great fit for this Miami team. Somebody big, physical, tough, just all around, can do so many things on this offensive line. He would be a huge plus. That being said, that is why I like the Campbell pick at 13. So now we're in the second round and pick 48. You guys are going to feel a little bit, iffy about this one, but I think the Dolphins go ahead and they get another offensive line piece, but this time to the biggest story of the offseason, the guard position. Now, we know that they signed James Daniels They re-signed Liam Eichenberg. However, I do not believe Eichenberg will make the roster because I have the Dolphins taking Tate Ratledge, guard from Georgia, at pick 48. Another big fucking unit at the offensive line. 6'6" and a half, up 308 pounds. I think eventually this guy will be a starter in the league. I don't think his first year right away. Actually, I think in his first year with us, if we dropped him, he would start. Ideally, he would start. And honestly, that's good for him because he plays next to a great guard like James Daniels. So this guy was actually a 5-star recruit back in high school, top 50 overall nationally. He's been in college, ever since 2020, and he was redshirted 2021. So he's had a lot of accomplishments. He did have a little bit of an injury-riled year in 2024. But he started every single game before that. So, with that being said, this guy's a 3-year starting right guard with relatively safe floor. Ratledge plays with a dirt dog mentality. Again, something this team really needs, players with that mentality. His pad level's too high, but he mauls his way into early advantages in the run game. The guy has really strong hands, and he uses them effectively to control and sustain the block. He's an average athlete with adequate foot quickness and technique to get the job done, which is why I actually like him. That's the one thing that Campbell doesn't have as well as this guy does. Even though the athleticism this guy lacks, he does have some really great technique. Not saying Campbell doesn't. Campbell does have good technique, but this guy's technique is unbelievable, man. Ratledge, however, does lack length and will reach when punching, opening him to quick the counters. He sees and handles twists with above average success and has enough anchor and redirect power to protect his pocket. The mentality and toughness that Ratledge brings will help him become a solid starter fairly quickly, in my opinion. Great firmness into contact on double teams, runs feet, and closes distance as a drive blocker. Big hands and a strong core to help sustain the block. Quick sets with instant punch to disorient interior rushers, and he works from twist to twist with timing and balance. Few minor weaknesses for him too. Obviously we talked about the below pad level when fitting his block. Sometimes he can struggle to read slants and stunts in time. And below average length for interior protection. Just some minor weaknesses. But this guy has so many positives to him. So much potential in this kid. It's a really, in my opinion, anyone who gets this guy in the draft is getting a steal at guard. He is a steal in the draft. And, if Miami gets him, this would set him up big time to potentially develop into one of the best offensive linemen in the league, and he could help close that gap out, especially in the future when Toronto Armstead's done. Him and Campbell will play together theoretically. Would be a nasty offensive line, and that's why I got the Dolphins getting him at 48. So now at pick 98, after picking offensive linemen in the first 2 rounds, we're going to be shifting away from the O-line, but not just from the O-line. We are actually shifting now to the defensive side of the football, and although this one might confuse some fans, however, this is something the Dolphins really need. So at pick 98, I got the Dolphins picking Kevin Winston Jr., a safety from Penn State. Now you might be wondering, why not cornerback? The Dolphins, they really need to find their next safety now that Holland is gone. I really love Ashton Davis, really underrated player. Even as a backup, he still had a couple interceptions. Imagine what he'll do as a starter. But Melifonwu, I don't think he's really a starter. I think he's more of a backup, which is why, he would be, I'll be honest with you, Melifonwu to me is quality depth, not a starter. Which is why I think Kevin Winston Jr. in the 3rd round is the move. This kid is incredibly talented, and even though he might be inexperienced due to a season-ending injury in 2024, Winston has the NFL size and traits, and yes, he's lacking in the instincts and the recognition column on the back end, but he's much better when he's engaged in playing forward, where his play strength and consistency as a tackler really stands out. This kid can cover both in line and slot tight ends and hassle their catch space But he does struggle with anticipation and footwork when asked to play on the top of the defense. Safeties with traits and tackle talent usually stick around as starters. Winstead could be somewhat limited because unless he develops his field recognition, but I do really believe in this kid because we know how underrated this guy is. We know what he can do on the field. Like, yes, he had an injury around here. Again, we know this. But we know what he did when he was healthy all his years and every game he played in this past season. He's a team captain with NFL size and long arms. This kid brings some great energy to the defense and brings some great energy and leadership to this team. NFL scouts, it is, they do say that he's wired right away for pro ball, and I actually believe that he is wired the right way for pro ball. I do agree with that statement that I read earlier today. And, one other thing that he really does well is that he attacks, blocks near the line, and spill runs wide. He really does a great job closing quickly and snuffs out action when he's playing forward. Rarely misses as a tackler once he's in the area. His frame, athleticism, and length to cover all brands of the tight ends. Really well-timed challenges to contest and eliminate catch chances. Again, the weaknesses, to me, honestly, yes, his below average instincts and play recognition, that is a little bit of a problem, and his footwork transitions, blah, blah, blah. But I know that Anthony Weaver can help this guy get back. He can make him from great to easily one of the best players on defense, if not the best player on this defense. I have that much faith in this kid. This guy is a great football player, really, really underrated, not talked about enough. This would be an incredible steal for the Dolphins at the third round, or hell, even second round, if I'm being honest with you. He's a steal. Anyone who gets him gets a steal in this kid. This kid is going to be special in the league. I got the Dolphins picking him at 98. This would be an incredible move. So now we're staying on the defense once again. We're filling another important spot. The cornerback position, I got the Dolphins. Fourth round picking at 116, Zy Alexander, another LSU player, cornerback. So the Dolphins have already a great corner in Jalen Ramsey, but they need to find that replacement for Xavier Howard when he was incredible in Miami. I think Zy Alexander would actually be a solid fit for this team. And I believe that he has the potential to develop into a starter in this league. Very solid starter. Alexander utilizes size, speed, length, and athleticism throughout all phases of coverage. And he's not overly disruptive from press, but he rarely allows much separation if he's beaten. He leverages routes with patterns and recognitions and maintains the connection to the route from trail. He's effective from man and zone with timing and tracking that can make him a coveted prospect for defenses with heavy cover 3 looks. Alexander's tools and traits give him a chance to become a starter. I really like this kid. This kid does have a little bit of issues. This kid has below average slide to match and cutoff press release. Can lose coverage concentration when the quarterback scrambles. Yeah, all of that. But he actually is a scheme fit for this Miami defense. So, especially Anthony Weaver. This is Anthony Weaver's guy right here. This is an Anthony Weaver guy right here. I like this kid. He may not be a superstar, but he will definitely be good enough to get the job done for you. He will get the job done for you. He will get you interceptions. He will get the job done for you when you need someone to step up. He is that step-up guy. He has a lot of potential to develop into a starter in this league. He may not be a perfect prospect. And, it's kind of rare to see that, if I'm being honest with you. But, honestly, I believe he will eventually become a plus starter in this league. Eventually. I think you got to give him 3 years. He would become a plus starter. For sure. Him and Ramsey will be an elite duo in 4 years. Give him 3 years, 4 years, maybe even max. That's I have a lot of faith in this kid. Really, really underrated too. Another underrated guy in this draft. I'm surprised a lot of teams have this guy also low on their board, just like Winston. So 116, I got the Dolphins selecting Zaya Alexander, cornerback.
And heave it. This one's going to come up short of the end zone, and it's intercepted by...
So now we enter the point in the draft where I'm now looking at this board, and I'm going to be picking players that I just really, really like on this list. And it starts here. Now, we're picking a position this team really needs depth on, and it's defensive tackle. So I think at 135, the Dolphins are going to take Jordan Phillips, defensive tackle, Maryland. Listen, this guy is a really powerful nose tackle, and he's known for his work ethic and leadership. The leadership, again, Dolphins, come on. Phillips is compact and explosive at the points, and while his inconsistency at controlling blocks quickly enough as a read and react defender can be a little bit concerning, he can be quick off the snap, and in general, he's a gap sound and can be hard for blockers to finish. He's yet to display he can provide pass rush protection, so I know that he still has to prove he can be at least a run plugger with the pros. But he's got explosive hips with twitchy upper body power, generates instant press and separation at the point. He can really spring into the gaps off the snap and penetrate upfield. Uses slap to arm over to bypass block. Secondary effort to strain and main gap integrity. So, even though he had no sacks over 2 seasons at Maryland, we know what he can do. We know that what he can do when he gets a chance. Great leader. I think he's honestly a really solid football player. He could honestly be like a Benito Jones. Worst comes to worst. And, that's fine with me. But I honestly believe that he will eventually become somewhere between an average to a plus starter. But it's a depth move. It's something the Dolphins need to fill in this draft. And I honestly think he's a solid defensive tackle. He would be a really solid starter in the league in like 4 years. Give him a few years. He'll become a really solid starter in this league. So, depth move, but potential to become a really solid starter for this team, Jordan Phillips. So now we're at pick 150. We are at the midway point of this, a little bit over the midway point of this mock draft. And I am very surprised that this kid is also low on draft boards, because I like this kid a lot. So at pick 150, I got the Dolphins once again going defense and selecting edge Jack Sawyer from Ohio State. Man, what this kid did in the postseason was unfucking believable. It was incredible. He was sensational. Huge part of the Ohio State National Championship run. So let's get his point kicked off. He is a dense-framed, even front defensive end whose game is built for power but not speed. Yes, he has short arms and slow power to neutralize and overcome the run blocks. And, that's great. But he does lack a quick win first step or twitchy stack and shed move. Locates the football and racks up tackles when runners near his gaps. It's a force-based rusher using his strong hands. Relentless motor and a pocket-caving charge to run up pressure totals. But his rush lacks quickness. He could see more interior rush opportunities for shorter trips into the pocket, and I really see Sawyer suited for box-based football, which could cap his pro ceiling, but his demeanor, toughness, activity level could provide a higher floor, especially on this Miami Dolphins team. This guy posted 4.5 sacks and 6 pass breakups during Ohio State's 4-game playoff run to the title. Again, sensational postseason he had. Beats backside cutoffs with quick reaction to lateral steps. Sets a strong edge and can release back inside the tackle B gap. Strength makes run game wins feel inevitable if a blocker doesn't finish him. And he uses the two-hand charge and a long arm stab to crater the pocket. Keeps his feet moving, making it tougher to mirror him. There's some very minor weaknesses about this kid too, and I'm very surprised that this kid is rated low on people's draft boards. It is so insane to me. There is so much potential in Jack Sawyer. Honestly, I believe, worst comes to worst, he's going to become a good starter within 2 years. I think he's going to become a starter in his second year in the NFL. He is going to be a stud in this league, a superstar. He has superstar potential written all over this kid. This kid is incredible, man. Gosh, this kid is great, man. He's so great. This is a steal for the Dolphins if they get him at 150. I would not pass him up if I'm Chris Greer. I would get this guy in a heartbeat if he's still there. I mean, you could put this guy right next to Chop Robinson and Bradley Chubb. That would be a deadly trio in the Dolphins defense and in the NFL. Could potentially be one of the best edge trios in the league. That being said, that is Jack Sawyer at the 150 spot.
For Ewers. Pressure comes. Sawyer knocked it out and picks it up. Jack Sawyer headed down the sidelines. Ohio State scoop and score.
So now we are at pick 155. Yeah, they kind of come in almost consecutively, but we're back on offense. We haven't been on offense in a while in this video. We started off with the first two picks, and then we were on defense the whole time. We're back on offense, and I think Miami needs one more running back because we have 3 running backs on the roster, and ideally, you should have 4. So I think the Dolphins address that, and they get Trevor Etienne with pick 155, Georgia running back. I think this guy is a good running backup, but I could see him develop into a starter in this league. He used to play with the Gators actually at one point. He's a low mileage back with the modest production and average explosiveness, but he's legitimate 3-down versatility. Yeah, I mean, we know he lacks the speed and power of his brother, Jaguars' Travis Etienne, but Trevor wins with vision, elusiveness, and efficiency. He's capable inside and does a nice job of staying tight to track, but can struggle to get tough yards. He runs with average bursts wide, but sets up tacklers and gets in and out of the cuts without losing speed. And Etienne really does a great job catching with sticky hands, evades tacklers in space, and he has a really good understanding of protections. He has middle round value, but could become a 3rd-down option early in his career, something this team has really needed, especially last year. The 3rd-down option just was horrible for Miami. He could really help fill that gap. Him and Madison can really be a deadly 3rd-down option duo for the team this year. Eludes early traffic to give the run chance. This kid runs with good bend and balance to the line. He makes great smooth transitions to cut and accelerate. Does a great job setting up open field tacklers to miss on the sweeps and tosses. Quick, soft hands catch everything in their vicinity. Stacks yards after catch with wiggle and field vision and sorts through the blitzes and twists like a champ in pass pro. Again, this guy doesn't really have any weaknesses in my opinion. I do know that he was arrested in March 24 for DUI, and that's probably why his value dropped so much. But he's a really damn good running back. And I think we could really solidify this running back room, by adding this kid. You would have Achane, then you would have Jalen Wright, Etienne, and then Madison. That's a deadly running back room. And in my opinion, this team is just it's just a few things away from being a quality football team. They just need to fill out the gaps in each position. They have great number 1 and 2s, but they just need to fill out the gaps behind that. So that's why I got him picking Trevor Etienne. All right, so the last 3 picks are 7th-round picks, so I'm going to go through this quickly. So quickly starting up, we're just going to talk about these 3 real quick. Defensive tackle, Ty Hamilton, another Ohio State pick. Got to fill that defensive tackle depth. I think he'll eventually be an average starter in the league at the most. He lateral quickness to beat the interior lineman to the spot. He snaps hands and hips into initial contact, stack the block. This guy has great hands from what I've seen, and he really works quickly off block to tackle his gap. Although he's undersized with shorter arms, he's still able to dart around blocks and find the gap for disruption. And he has some great quickness to succeed for gaming rush front. So that is Ty Hamilton for you. And then we're looking at pick what is now 231, Jermari Harris. This guy right here is a cornerback. Again, we are filling up that cornerback depth. This team has right now that problem as well. They do need a starter, but they do need backups as well. And I think he's also actually a solid special teams player too, from what I've seen in the film. He has some calm feet with the ability to play and drive without a stall. Long strider who can stay in phase with vertical routes, can discard blocking receivers. Good route recognition to jump the break. So, again, it's another def move, and we're going to get to the last one. We're taking a receiver at pick 253, and that is Ja'Cory Brooks, wide receiver from the Louisville Cardinals. Not really much to talk about, obviously, because this is more of a def move. But Brooks has impressive touchdown rate throughout his career. Plays with desired catch to run train positions. Fights against combative coverage inside the route. Slick use of offhand to open catch doors deep. So, again, another def move. All these 7th round picks are just def moves. I think all these guys should make the roster. No, for sure, because we just really need the def right now. So, that being said, that is the last 3 picks of this mock draft. So with that being said, that is going to be it for this video, guys. I'm really excited to see what the Dolphins do in the draft. But let me know what you guys think about this mock draft I did today. It took a lot of time, and definitely a lot of time to make this video. But I think it came with a lot of hard work. It was really fun to make. Might try to do one more before the draft starts. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. See you guys in the next video. Peace out.